Huh? Oh, hello. Well, this is awkward. So in today's episode, we're going to be doing the Nether Wart farm. And I said a few episodes ago that I was trying to think up a way to make it more complicated. Well, I've succeeded. See, my plan is, you see that button right there? I can push the button and all this Nether Wart will be auto-harvested. And I've got some hopper minecarts underneath that will run and collect it all. But where I've got this bit of glass and the dropper underneath, I wanted that to drop out enough Nether Wart so I can replant without having to open a chest or grab any more. I just run back and forth replanting and I'll pick it up as I go by. But I need it to spit out the exact amount, or pretty close to the exact amount of Nether Wart that I want it to. But I haven't quite figured it out yet. And, if you don't mind, guys. Come on, I'm trying to maintain the illusion here that I'm good at redstone. Okay, guys? Okay, I finally got it sorted. I was playing around with pulse extenders for a long time. See, I need a pulse extender to keep that dropper elevator firing for the required amount of time, and I was playing around with heaps of pulse extenders. This is a really old one of Exuma Void. It wasn't quite right. I only had a 3x3 space to work with. It didn't quite fit. And I could fit this one in, but it was just a bit big and clunky, the ether hopper clock. And then I came up with this, and this was a huge shock to me. It does exactly the same thing as the ether hopper clock over here. It's just a pulse extender. It works in exactly the same way. And I did not realize that you could do it without pistons. And I had a look on YouTube, and this is one of those moments when I wish I'd started playing Minecraft earlier. I've only been playing for about a year and a half. And about 2 years ago, someone started coming up with these designs. But as far as I could tell, no one's done this specific one. And the other ones, they're nearly as small. They're like probably one block larger. But as far as I know, this one is kind of original. Kind of not, though, because the principle's already been used. I think those guys, though, were putting their comparator on subtract, but mine doesn't need to be. So I'm very happy with this. It's probably been done, but I couldn't find it, and I kind of stopped looking because I didn't want to find it. So anyway, I'm going to build this thingo, I guess. I might have to change the design a little bit, depending on how much space I have, but it's ready to go. And like a derp, I go and show you my awesome new design with a completely unnecessary piece of redstone dust right there. Good work, Cortezerino. This is like I was saying before, maintaining the illusion that I'm good at redstone. But I'm going to be philosophical about this design. I'm going to treat it like the proverbial tree in the forest that falls and there's no one there to hear it. If I don't search and therefore don't find that someone else has already invented this, then have they really invented it at all? So you can just put hoppers underneath your soul sand because it's not quite a full block. The hoppers can pick up the Nether Wart through the soul sand, but I plan on doing a lot of these little fields here of Nether Wart, and I just don't want that many hoppers. I don't know what kind of lag it's going to cause. So I'm using hopper minecarts. Go back in. Come on. There we go. So when I push the button to harvest, they'll... Oh no, I'm wrecking it now. They'll do a little run like that. There we go. Cool little demonstration. And I've left this uncovered so I can show you a little bit of how it works. So when I push the button and these pistons go back and forth, basically I've got... as soon as I push the button, these pistons are going to push the soul sand that way. And I've got 3 repeaters then on a full delay. And after that delay, those pistons up the end will push it back into place. And that delay gives enough time for these pistons to retract so they're not in the way. And the hopper minecarts will run and collect it all and come back here. And all the nether will start filtering into this bottom dropper. Now, I've got a hopper coming straight off the bottom of this dropper here. But because I've got 2 hoppers coming in here and only 1 leaving, that means there'll be a backlog of Nether Wart in this dropper, and so I'll be able to fire it even as it's being filtered away to somewhere else. And I've got 3 droppers there, and the dropper elevator I'm using, the device I'm using to fire it, is just 2 observer blocks that will face each other. So I've got an observer block down the bottom here. The sticky piston will push it up, and as soon as you get 2 observer blocks facing each other, and this is really cool, so I'll just face them together. Boom. See that? It's a clock. So that's really cool. So as soon as I push one into the other, it'll just start ticking away, and that pulse will fire all 3 of those droppers. And then I've got my cool little Cortezerino hopper timer. That's what we're calling it, I guess. And that just keeps it going long enough to spit out a stack and a half of Nether Wart, and that gives me enough to replant. So I'll have one going here and another one spitting out just over here. And this button will fire both sides. And I've got these, what do you call these again? End rods here. Just as a little thing so I don't fall in there and I can just reach the end there to plant. And I'm hoping this might also help with ghast spawns. But I've got a very bad feeling that I'm going to finish all of this and ghast will be spawning all over the place. I might have to put some glass over my head here so that doesn't happen, but we'll find out. And the hoppers, I've just got leading off into nowhere at the moment, so I'm going to have another couple of paddocks on this side, more over there, and they're just all going to connect and send the Nether Wart off in that direction. Now I've got to figure out some sort of storage room for this, because at the moment I've just got a little hole in the wall of my tunnel here, so I've got to make a little like sort of getting off point here. And I might even get rid of all the packed ice and make this the entry point to the Blaze farm down there as well. But we'll see. But what I'm thinking, I don't have much room to bring all that Nether Wart up in a dropper item elevator here and then have storage. So I'll probably have stairs leading down and another level below where we're standing now, and that will be the storage for all the Nether Wart just under this track here. And then I'll have more paddocks underneath. I probably won't do paddocks above because I want this room to look pretty cool. I've got these big wheels here just to stop the ghasts from flying in. And the plan is all this netherrack that's underneath my feet is going to be cleared out so we can see the bottom half of those wheels. That's going to be fun because there's a lava lake down there. It's going to be dangerous. Alright, so I'm going to keep building this thing. It's been a long time coming. I've been putting it off for episodes and episodes just because those wheels were really difficult to build. Like, there's so many different sized circles involved, and I kept building it wrong and having to take it apart. But this episode is when we're going to get it done, guys. So I'm going to do some work and I will check back in with you in a little bit. Finally, the Nether Wart farm is complete. This has been a long time coming, a lot longer than you might think, because I lost my internet connection for 5 days halfway through building this. So yes, it took quite a while. And this is where I had that little hole in the wall before, but it's all blocked off. I changed my mind on how I was going to do this, and this design's worked out really well. I think I'm going to end up doing a tutorial for this one. And like, obviously, for Nether Wart farms, it's much easier to build them in the overworld and then just use water to harvest them. But the reason I did it here in the Nether, because this is my dual blaze farm. I've got the 2 spawners right there, and 2 super smelters up above my head, and I just thought this would be a good place for the Nether Wart farm, because I can smelt all the netherrack that I've collected digging out all these areas, smelt them all into bricks. I've got so many bricks, and then combine it with the Nether Wart to make these red nether bricks, which I think look awesome. So that's why I built it here, and I will probably do a tutorial for it if you guys are interested in making a Nether Wart farm in the Nether. But this is the new entrance. So we just head down this way, and I've finally prettied up this area a little bit. It was looking shocking before. And I'm thinking about... Ooh, there's the bad guys. You can't see me behind the black glass. The black glass. Go away. And I'm thinking about digging out some of the netherrack there, just so you can see the bottom of this wheel a bit better. So this looks pretty cool, I think. And I intentionally built all of these farms using the red nether brick for every block, with all the redstone and that on top of it, just because it's a very mechanical looking sort of build. I've got the big cog wheels going through here, so I wanted to be able to look up at the farms above and just see all the mechanics of it. And so it just really looks like a factory. I think it looks pretty awesome. I may have gone a little bit overboard with the blaze rods, but I'm just trying to stop the blaze from spawning in here. They can't spawn anywhere on the floor here. I've got light levels high enough now with these thousands and thousands of blaze rods, but they can still spawn along the bits of the wheels here. So you can see I've started placing buttons in places where I think it looks okay. I didn't want to go too nuts, but I probably will have to end up placing a lot of buttons around here just to stop them from spawning in those areas, or I might not. I don't know. I haven't got that much carpet that can be caught alight, and only once have I been planting here and copped a few fireballs in the back of the head. But yeah, I don't think it'd be too bad. The blaze ghasts, on the other hand, like when I was building this, I kept getting ghast spawn like out in the corners and stuff like that, and then I was getting them on the level above. Let's just go above. This is how you get up there now. So I've just got a couple of ladders on the sides, and this is how we get to the top level. But since I've had this complete, I haven't had a single ghast spawn in here. Now, I don't know if I've just gotten lucky, but I did a bit of research into how ghast spawn, and I think as long as they've got the big enough area for their body to fit, and there's plenty of that up here, I think it's like a 4x5x5 or something like that, I think they only need a single solid block underneath them. So that block there is a good spawning point, as long as they've got enough room to spawn up there. But they haven't spawned. And I'm thinking, because it says in the Minecraft wiki that they'll spawn in those circumstances, but not in a nether fortress. And where this tunnel goes, that was a nether pathway, and there's another one sort of over here. So I'm technically in a nether fortress here, and then where they were spawning, like right on the edges, now I've got sort of glass come in. Look, see all the glass I put in? Look at all that black glass. I've done the entire room, encased it in black glass, and that's all the way around. It's underneath too. I'll show you that in a bit. So I'm thinking there's just such a small area here where it's possible for them to spawn that they're just not, the dice just aren't rolling correctly for them, and they're not spawning. And I put a few of these end rods up in the air, 2 of them end to end. First of all, because I thought it looked cool and it sort of lights up the area a bit, but I thought if a ghast did spawn in here, they would sort of limit his mobility a little bit so I could get a good shot at him. But yeah, the farm's looking good, except for the thousands of blaze end rods. I think I may switch the ones on the end here up for sea lanterns. We'll see how we go. Let's head down and have a bit of a better look down here. So here's my collection system. So the hopper chain from the ones above just come down here and go across, and pretty basic, just filters down into all these chests. And the farms I've got on this level, there's the hopper chain for them, and they just come along down there, black glass everywhere, goes into a little dropper item elevator, goes up the glass and connects in with those hoppers, so I can get it from both levels. And I may just do a harvest here in a little bit, because I know the top platform works perfectly, and the design's not that complicated really. Like it's pretty clever, and I've managed to keep it pretty simple, but I haven't actually tested all the ones on the bottom here, so I may have misplaced a bit of redstone dust or something, and maybe one of these isn't working. I'm not sure yet, but oh, there's my lava lake, and yes, we can head down there with a bit of parkour. I've left this wide open, so if someone comes to visit this farm for the first time and they're not paying attention, they can fall down pretty easily. So I had been thinking about building another layer of farms down here, but the edges of the circly thing, cylinder, that's the word I was looking for, not circly thing. The edges of the cylinder were starting to come in, so it would have been a pretty small farm down the bottom here. And I had another idea for this area, which I'm not going to go into detail too much in this episode. It's still just a basic concept. I've got to get on my redstone world and figure something out. But the whole reason I built the Nether Wart farm here was to be close to the blaze rods that I'm using for fuel. And there's another type of farm that goes very well with blaze rods, and I was thinking about building it down here. So I'm just going to leave this bare for the time being, and we may revisit this in another episode or two. Uh-oh. Ooh, nearly got myself killed. That's pretty good. So now I'm going to give this bottom level a quick test, which I haven't done. Please work, please work. Let's hit the button. Did all those move back into place? I have no idea. We'll test it out. And see here, it's all dropping up toward me. So you got to wait a little bit. I got like 15 there, but you can just run across to this side, and now I'm up to 40. And there's a bit of lag and a bit of pigment interference. I could have spawn-proofed this place against pigment by putting carpet everywhere, but then it just wouldn't look as nice, and I guess a pigment here and there isn't too bad. So yeah, these droppers firing makes a little bit of lag, but it doesn't last forever. So I'm going to get this replanted and just make sure that everything works. Actually, I'll just do a couple. And let's make sure this all flicked properly. Come on, stop clicking things at me. I want to press the button again. I'll press the button again. Yes. It looks like it's all working properly. Anyway, let's do a full harvest and see how many I get in my little chest over here. So I've noticed one thing about this. I've got a real bottleneck of the hoppers. I've got everything leading through one hopper there. So this just keeps going and going and going and going. I might have to adjust that a little bit, but it does look cool the way it is. But yeah, all the nether wart from the farm above is going into that one hopper, and all the nether wart from the farms below are getting dropped up into there. So I've been sitting here for a while, and that just keeps ticking. Oh, the hoppers behind it are starting to fill up now, I guess. I can't even reach it, but look at that. In one harvest, I've done at least a chest full. That's a fair bit. Okay, I had to wait just to find out how much I'd get then. A chest full plus 3 stacks and a half. So not too bad, although I may have to adjust this this little collection system right here. So thanks for watching, guys. My biggest build on the server to date, the Nether Wart farm, is finally complete. It shouldn't have been such a massive build, but I decided to just go nuts with huge cogwheels and black stained glass absolutely everywhere. But the most important thing of all, I built the entire thing and only punched one pigman. And I lived, so it's all good. So cheers from me, guys. I'm Cortezerino. See you later.